There's no doubt that Missouri is a great place to do business. The Missouri Chamber has been telling that story for decades. But part of our job is to take a step back every so often and see how well Missouri is competing for the jobs of the future. We spent the better part of 2014 studying that question, and what we found is that Missouri is slipping. That's why the Missouri Chamber is undertaking a groundbreaking new plan to get Missouri back on the right track. It's called Missouri 2030. With help from the Gallup organization, we asked more than 1,000 Missouri CEOs about challenges and opportunities at their companies. Time and time again, they said graduates from Missouri schools weren't meeting their requirements for employment.
We saw, particularly among industries that employ high school level graduates, having very low faith in Missouri high school's ability to produce workers really ready to enter the workforce.
Where we tend to struggle is in the non-professional workforce, to find really good workers and able to retain them.
The Missouri 2030 plan includes actionable steps to bring business leaders and educators together to create the workforce we need.
You can win by having the talent. Talent rules today. Right now, what we're hearing from Missouri businesses is they're having trouble finding it. If we can solve that, then it's going to give Missouri the competitive advantage that allows all those indicators to move up.
Another part of the equation is having enough good jobs for our graduates and workers. Today, Missouri is often not at the top of the list when growing companies are searching for a place to expand and create those jobs.
We saw business owners feeling that the regulatory environment in particular was one of their biggest obstacles to growth. We asked a question, what is your biggest obstacle to growth? And regulation was cited at twice the rate of any other factor.
Other states and other regions and other countries are doing things every day to compete and beat Missouri. Well, Missouri has to find a way to compete and beat those other places.
We also need to do much more to make Missouri attractive for entrepreneurs. Missouri has to be a place where today's great ideas can become tomorrow's successful companies.
In a number of the areas we looked at, small businesses seem to be struggling more than medium or large-sized businesses.
If we have more of those small companies today that have the potential to become bigger, then we don't need to attract companies that are already big to move to Missouri. That's always much more difficult. So I think we need both. We need small companies, startup companies that find an environment that fosters and supports their growth, as well as an environment where already established companies would move into Missouri.
But even if we create the nation's best climate for business, Missouri will fail without a robust transportation system. Our state is right now facing a substantial transportation funding shortfall that will cripple our efforts to use Missouri's central location as an asset for economic growth.
So the infrastructure across the state really came out as a key need and an area where more investment was needed.
You certainly have a locational competitive advantage of being in the center, but in addition to that, you're going to have the real infrastructure itself to allow that competitive advantage of location to flourish.
We see those locations, those cities, those states that are investing in their infrastructure have a competitive advantage when they're trying to attract business, when they're trying to attract employers to locate their businesses or to start businesses in certain environments.
To accomplish what we need to do, it takes consistent long-term leadership that transcends term limits and political cycles. With Missouri 2030, our state's business community is stepping into this role.
We're not in a position in the world today where we actually want government to be growing most of our jobs. We want our business community to grow jobs. So if you're trying to seed an environment where the businesses can be successful, then you've got to ask businesses.
As business leaders, we have the opportunity to kind of shape and craft how things should be. And I think when you get the business community involved, you can help drive forward with progress and positive initiatives.
This is a solution that the business community and the chamber really have to lead on.
For the business community to help guide the elected officials in what needs to be done and what should be done is critical.
I'd like to thank the dozens of CEOs who worked directly on Missouri 2030 and the more than 1,000 business leaders who shared their input during meetings across the state and during our Gallup survey. It took an incredible amount of effort to create this plan, but we're just getting started, and the clock is already ticking towards 2030. It's time to get to work.